The world watched in horror as the Taliban carried out public executions in Afghanistan once again. On April 11, 2025, 4 men were executed in stadiums across 3 provinces. This marked the highest number of public executions in a single day since the Taliban returned to power in 2021. Tens of thousands of spectators were present to witness the grim events. 2 of the men, Muhammad Wali and Muhammad Anwar, were convicted of murder in Baghuz province. They were accused of killing Abdul Ahad and Muhammad Asif, respectively. The charges against the other 2 men remain unclear. However, reports suggest they were also convicted of murder. The executions were carried out by firing squad. Witnesses described a scene of chaos and terror as the condemned men were led to their deaths. Gunfire echoed through the stadiums, silencing the murmurs of the assembled crowds. The Taliban's decision to resume public executions has drawn condemnation from around the world. Many see it as a sign that the Taliban are not interested in rejoining the international community. Instead, they seem determined to impose their strict interpretation of Islamic law on the Afghan people. The Taliban have defended the public executions, claiming they are justified under Islamic law. They argue that Sharia law, which they have imposed as the law of the land, permits the death penalty for certain crimes. These crimes include murder, adultery, and apostasy. The Taliban Supreme Court has also backed the executions. They maintain that the cases were thoroughly investigated, and the accused were given fair trials. According to the court, the families of the victims were even offered the chance to pardon the convicted men, but they refused. Spokesman Abdul Rahim Rashid dismissed the UN's concerns as unjustified and surprising. He insisted that the executions were carried out in strict accordance with Sharia law. Rashid further stated that no external entity has the right to interfere with the application of Islamic law in Afghanistan. The Taliban's stance on public executions highlights their commitment to a rigid interpretation of Sharia law. Despite international pressure, they have shown no willingness to reconsider their stance on capital punishment. This unwavering commitment to their ideology raises serious concerns about the future of human rights in Afghanistan. The recent public executions are a chilling reminder of the Taliban's previous rule from 1996 to 2001. During that time, public executions and other forms of corporal punishment were commonplace. The Taliban used these brutal methods to instill fear and enforce their strict interpretation of Islamic law. Stadiums, much like today, were often used as the backdrop for these public spectacles. Men accused of theft had their hands amputated in front of large crowds. Women accused of adultery were stoned to death. The Taliban's brutal justice system became synonymous with their rule. The return of public executions is a clear indication that the Taliban have not changed their ways. Despite their promises of a more moderate rule, they seem intent on repeating the mistakes of the past. This has sparked fear and uncertainty among the Afghan people, many of whom remember the brutality of the Taliban's previous reign. The international community has reacted with shock and dismay to the Taliban's resumption of public executions. The UN has condemned the executions as a violation of fundamental human rights. They have called on the Taliban to immediately cease these practices and uphold international law. Amnesty International has echoed these concerns, labeling the executions a gross affront to human dignity. They have urged the international community to take concrete action to hold the Taliban accountable for their human rights violations. The public executions in Afghanistan are part of a worrying trend. According to recent data, Iran, Iraq, and Saudi Arabia accounted for 91% of all known executions worldwide in 2024. This highlights the urgent need for a global dialogue on the use of capital punishment. The Taliban's actions have serious implications for the future of Afghanistan. They further isolate the country on the world stage and make it difficult to engage in meaningful dialogue. The international community must continue to pressure the Taliban to respect human rights and end these barbaric practices. Failure to do so will only lead to further suffering for the Afghan people.